This is Theglamlyfe, and I am coming to you live. Um, it's pretty late, and I just want to talk to everyone to talk about mental health and why is getting your mental health in order and also self-care. A lot of us, majority of us are embarrassed. A lot of us are embarrassed to go and seek out mental health counseling. And, a lot of times you're shamed by friends or family. And most of the time they tell you that it's in your head. There's nothing wrong. You need to pray about it. And sometimes that isn't always the answer. Sometimes, I know they tell you, a lot of times they, say, well, tell you to talk to the Lord. But sometimes we actually need someone to talk to. I know there is a lot of issues going on with, a lot of personal issues that you would feel more comfortable speaking with a neutral third party as opposed to speaking to someone that you know. I know there was a lot of classified information that you prefer not to share. I know you don't want to get, far as shamed on some of the things that you want to talk about. And so, with that being said, never let anyone shame you on your personal mental health journey. It's just, it's unfortunate that we have to, live with mental health issues. And a lot of times you got to keep things bottled up inside because you are afraid to speak to someone, a mental health professional, about what's going on. Sometimes that family has really, far as getting in your head that you don't need to go speak to a mental health professional. But there's nothing wrong with counseling. There is nothing wrong with seeking mental health and seeking counseling. Sometimes you need to speak to someone because, a lot of times when you hold things in and you never talk to anyone about the issues that you have going on, that you hold stuff in for so long and then you finally let it out. And sometimes you like, it's overwhelming. It's just like when you hold, it's basically like when you have a balloon and you filling it up with water and you keep filling it up and keep filling it up and keep filling it up. And eventually the balloon is gonna bust because it's over, it's to capacity. And sometimes that's how it is as a human being. Holding things in that is causing a lot of anxiety, and you need to speak to someone on certain issues. A lot of issues that a lot of people are dealing with are generational curses. Generational curses are real. And if you don't talk about what, for your family dynamics and what went on with your family, and some of the toxic nature, if you keep stuff hidden and never talk about it, then the next generation is going to keep continuing that cycle. Sometimes if you have a certain family member and you don't tell anyone about that specific family member that was sort of like a predator, and then you don't say anything, and they still, creating havoc and still, doing what they do. That's basically a generational curse because you keeping that going. I mean, and sometimes you feel shame. You need to talk about certain things. It's don't let don't never let anyone shame you on your decisions. And sometimes it's a lot of things in your past that you want to talk about, and you don't feel comfortable with talking with family and or friends. It's just some things that's so deep that they won't understand or they shame you for it. But there's nothing wrong with getting out and talking about it and talking with a mental health professional. It's time, it's time. A lot of that hurt and anger is, building up inside of you, and you just need to talk to someone and let it out. And because it's not conducive, being holding stuff in is not conducive to your mental health, not one bit. And it's not fair to you, as a human being, as an individual that's really trying to get their get their life in order. Sometimes you have to figure out, who you are. And if you don't know who you are, you don't know where you're going. So you just need to find out who exactly you are, and never let anyone steal your joy or your happiness. And then also never forget who you are. So, a lot of generational curses can be stopped. They can be stopped, that you can be the one that break the generational curse. So whomever needing this live, I will continue to send out positive messages. And if you need encouragement, I will, come back on and do another live on mental health issues and mental health, just different topics on mental health. And I know that, the stigma of of seeking counseling is almost like, well, you're crazy, or you don't need anyone outside of family knowing your family business. And it's not always the case. That's not the reason why you are the reason why you are seeking mental help, and seeking counseling and a therapist, is because you would like that third party to assess what's going on. And most of the time, a third party of a therapist isn't going to judge you. They don't know you. And then, so, and I feel like if you don't like that particular therapist or counselor or whatnot, you can always feel free to, find another counselor. I know life is hard sometimes and it gets a little overwhelming, but we all get a little overwhelmed sometimes. We all feel a little stressed. I mean, it's life. Life be lifing. And, just, try to, you know, be strong. Just try to get the help that you need, because there's help out. It's help out here. Sometimes you are not alone in your fight for, for mental health. So don't ever be afraid to Seek out mental health. Forget what people say. Forget, it's your life. It's your life, and you only get one life. So, make the best out of it and try to get your health. Your mental health is just as important as your physical health. And sometimes with your mental health, with the not seeking mental help, it drains you, and it's to the point that you are you'll get so caught up with your mental health declining that you just can't go on every day and function like you're supposed to. You just need to, open up and speak to someone, because not everyone is bad. There's people out here to listen, and they're not here to harm you. Um, so it's a lot of help out here. And sometimes, especially women, a lot of times we need that, that counseling, that mental health counseling. Some of you have kids. I know, a lot of times a lot of women feel overwhelmed because they're the only one, the only parent that's taking care of the kids, or they're the only breadwinner, and they feel that they're alone and they're not getting any help. Sometimes, um, you don't get help from your family, and sometimes you don't even get help from your child's family. And, sometimes that's a big stressor if you're every day, we all need help. I mean, everyone needs help in some form of capacity. It doesn't have to be necessarily monetary help, but it can, as far as, help if one of, your family members, or your child's, your boyfriend, husband, or, the father of your children, or the father of your child, if their family, is willing to step in and say and offer help, that's a plus. And sometimes if you're doing everything on your own, sometimes it does get overwhelming. It gets to the point that you feel like um you just feel like you feel like you're alone. I mean, carrying a lot of weight on your shoulder does, as far as your mental health, it can harm your mental health. You just, every day that you have kids and you're doing everything by yourself, and no one, family on either side is offering help. That's hurtful. And I know sometimes you don't, there's not, you feel that, it's not their responsibility to, help you raise your child. But it's almost like, hey, can I get a helping hand? You're not even asking for anything monetary. Hey, can you watch such and such for an hour? Can you watch such and such for 4 or 5 hours until you go and try to get some self-care. But if they're not offering to do that, and it's just you, taking care of your children, that's overwhelming. And can get overwhelming at times. And I know a lot of women love their kids, and we all need a mental break. We all need a mental break. And there's nothing wrong with needing a mental break. There's nothing wrong with taking an hour for self-care. There's nothing wrong with, if you don't have yourself together mentally or physically, how can you care for someone else? If your mental health and your physical health isn't together, You can. You have to look after yourself first. You have to take out time for you. How can you can't be can you can't it's impossible trying to help someone else out, help them out mentally if you're not to get there mentally. You have to focus on you first. You can't focus on anyone else trying to get their mental health together. You have to focus on you, and if you have kids, you definitely, most definitely have to get your mental health and your physical health together, because if there's no other parent except you, you have to get yourself together, because you don't know where your kids will end up. If you have no family, or you don't have anyone that's willing to step in, um to far as help you with your children after your departure, you know that it's imperative to get your health together. You have to grind and try to get your health, your physical health, your mental health together. And it's like, sometimes it gets it's hard, and it's hurtful that I know that, well, someone to say, well, that's your kids. You don't, we didn't ask to, we're not asking to, we're not asking for you to keep the children for weeks or days or weeks at a time. Just ask, as far as, hey, can my child come over for a few hours while a mental reset? But hey, it's technically not their responsibility, but it shouldn't be like that. It's supposed to be a village. It's supposed to be a village is supposed to raise that child. That's what I was always told back when I was growing up. It takes a village to raise a child, but where is that village now in 2024? It's not there anymore. It's totally not there. Where has the family dynamics has gone in this right now in 2024? Where has it? I mean, where is it? And so a lot of times, neighbors, everybody, it's understandable. And right now, how times are, you don't, everyone keeps to yourself. Yes, I get it. You can't trust anyone. You can't trust anyone keeping your children. You really can. You can't trust you can't even trust anyone as being your friend. Right now, I'm pretty much alone, or I don't, hang out with friends. I don't hang out with females. Solo. Solo and going out and just doing family things with my child. So, sometimes you don't need friends, you don't need a lot of, the headache and drama. But sometimes, you get a little lonely because you don't, really don't have another female, to talk to and hang out with. But that's understandable. Sometimes it's like that, and I can't stand that saying, but heck, it is what it is. And I know that right now, I know I don't. My camera isn't my camera isn't on live right now. Probably pretty much because it's a little late, and I'm looking, with not up to par, with my pajamas on. And I hope you ladies, and, get out and vote. If you get out and vote today. East Coast is after midnight, so it's already, November 5th. And you get out, and not just ladies, male, men as well. If you haven't voted already, in, an early election. If you, still need to go out and vote, go out and vote for the candidate who you feel comfortable with voting with. Excuse me, the candidate you feel comfortable, voting for. So, it's your democratic right, it's your duty to go out and vote. And I suggest you all to go out and to vote. Um, it's interesting times that we are in, but you can't let that stop you. You can't let that stop your calling in life. You have to strive and, get to, strive and get to where you need to be. So, it's understandable how a lot of people feel nowadays. A lot of people feel drained. They feel burnt out. Burnt out on their jobs. They feel just burnt out. A lot of, can't afford, a lot of people can't afford, certain basic necessities like they used to. So a lot of us can't, excuse me, a lot of people can't afford even, the basic, far as they can't afford basics, they, can't afford, the mental health counseling. But there's resources out there to help you pay for, the mental health counseling that you need. So take advantage. A lot of times you have to go out and find these resources. These resources aren't going to find you. You got to get out and be get out and be hungry and go out, and because no one is going to save you. That's no one else's job to save you. Only person is you saving yourself. That is not anyone else's job to save you. At the end of the day, you have yourself to save. You have your own soul. So you can't save no one else's soul. Only soul you can save is yourself. So and it's very interesting out here. It is. It's very interesting. Um, it's just you know, even with I know right now I probably won't get a lot of live views. Um, it's okay. It's quite okay. I know that my content right now, I'm, not being overly excessive. I'm, not, twerking or doing anything that's like out the ordinary. I'm, keeping it, trying to somewhat keep it professional. But hey, I mean, to each his own. And I'm gonna keep striving. Keep making live. Going to making live videos, getting on live with my camera on and my camera off. So sometimes I can't let that stop me. I still, I can't let that stop me. If I get one view, one like, I can't. I gotta keep striving. I gotta keep going on. I have to keep motivating myself. I can't let this discourage me. I can't let, 0 views or one like, deter me of not making any more videos. Because you have to strive. You have to, be determined. You have to go, get out and go for what you want. So, it's just, I, I try to be a mentor to a lot of young people. Some take my advice, some don't. I try to, give advice to younger, my younger nieces and nephews. I try to give, positive, motivational, advice. And if they take it, I mean, if you accept my advice, it's fine. If you don't, it's okay too. Um, I mean, I try to, the life experiences that I had. I try to, pass on some, some wisdom and some motherly advice. But hey, if you want to listen, you want to listen to me, it's fine. If you do listen, it's fine. If you don't listen, it's fine. Hey, I mean, it's not gonna affect my life. It's not gonna affect my life more, or less. Um, I don't know. I just don't know how sometimes that, the more negative excuse me, more negative, a lot of negativity. If I, as far as negativity sells. So, I mean, if I'm, was on here and screaming, hollering, and just being like, I'm just being unladylike. Oh, okay. But it's okay. If a person like my content, they like it. If they don't, they don't. It's that simple. Um, so with that being said, I um I hope everyone that is, everyone that came to, hope you all have a lovely, enjoyable night. And just